Well, it finally seems like other brands are starting to do their own types of Protro. Yo, what is good YouTube? I am Richie Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on the Adidas D Rose 1.5 Restomod, which is basically Adidas's version of the Nike Protro. If you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below, and also hit that bell notification button so you never miss another video just like this. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the Adidas D Rose 1.5 Restomod features what they call a pure motion outsole, and basically what you're gonna get is like a bunch of dots scattered in the forefoot area with these 3 pods, and in these 3 pods are like kind of like modified herringbone or like wavy herringbone. And then in the heel, you kind of have those dot patterns again. And then throughout these 3 stripes in the back, you actually have a radial pattern coming out from here. And yeah, you know, the traction on this was okay. If you're playing on your cleaner courts, you really shouldn't have any problems. However, if you are playing on your dustier courts, you should expect to do a lot of wiping because this does pick up dust, and the dust will get stuck onto the outsole if you do not consistently wipe. But yeah, you know, after the wipes, you should have a couple of good stops, but then you'll start sliding again. And like I said, if you do let that dust pick up more and more and you just don't wipe, you're probably gonna slide out. It is what it is. That's just, you know, how it is on this outsole. I was really hoping that the traction would have been a lot better, but in the end, this is how it performed. So moving on to the cushion, this is where the D Rose 1.5 Restomod is different from the original model. In the original model, I'm sure they're probably using Adiprene or something like that, some sort of Adidas foam setup. But in here, it is using a full-length light strike midsole. And when you hear light strike, it could be a really good thing or, you know, just a whatever thing. And in this shoe, I have to say it's pretty whatever. In the heel, you do get a little bit of impact protection, very, very minimal though. I would say there is some compression in the heel, but really not enough to make a huge difference. As you can see, this midsole is fairly thin, and same goes for the forefoot. So in the heel, you do actually have a little bit more impact protection than what you do in the forefoot. The forefoot is fairly thin. Yeah, you know, this is definitely a responsive setup of light strike. If you all like a lot of court feel, great responsiveness, this light strike is gonna feel really good to you. However, if you are expecting a lot of impact protection, this is just not gonna cut it. The light strike is very thin, and it's just a more minimal setup of light strike, very responsive setup. So yeah, that it is what it is. I was hoping that the light strike would feel, you know, a lot better than how it is in the shoe, but in the end, this is what they went with. So moving on to the materials, the D Rose 1.5 Restomod features a bunch of old school materials, I would say. In the toe box, you obviously have this giant leather toe cap, and it's a patent leather toe cap. It does have, you know, a lot of structure and whatnot. It's very durable. However, you can't really see it here, but there are a lot of crease marks in here, and that's just what's going to happen with patent leather. As you move towards the middle of the shoe, you have a combination of this suede. I'm not sure if it's synthetic suede or real suede, but you have this suede material and what they call sprint skin, which is kind of like a rubber, and it actually feels pretty good on foot, you know. It doesn't feel like overly stiff or anything like that, and you know, it provides a lot of structure and containment for the shoe. As you move towards the back, you do have like this plastic piece right here with some more patent leather that wraps around the back, and then on the medial side, you do have that continuation of the suede material. Moving on to the tongue, you do have like a standard mesh tongue. It is like pretty minimal padding, but you know, I didn't really have issues when I cranked down my laces. I didn't feel the laces digging into my foot. So yeah, you know, overall, the material usage on this shoe is not bad. You know, it's definitely, you know, more old school feeling. Personally, I prefer, you know, knits and stuff like that. That makes the shoe feel, I don't know, I guess like a little bit more one-to-one, and it just feels lighter on foot. However, the incorporation of the materials on this shoe, I think they did a pretty solid job for what it is. So yeah, you know, for material usage, if you do like old school materials, you're definitely gonna like this. If not, then this is probably not your shoe. So moving on to the fit, I would say that the D Rose 1.5 Restomod actually runs true to size. So whatever size you normally wear in every other shoe brand, I would say just get that in this shoe and you should be good to go. I'm a slightly wide footer. I went true to size and I actually felt good. I didn't feel like any pressure at all around it in this forefoot area. And like I said, you know, I'm a slightly wide footer, which is pretty rare for that to not happen. So if you do have slightly wider feet, going true to size is the way to go. Extremely wide feet, you might be able to get away going true to size as well. You might feel a little bit of pressure around here in the forefoot area, but that should eventually go away. The material's breaking just a little bit. It is, you know, a combination of that suede and rubber, but it should stretch out just a little bit, I would say. And then, you know, if you have regular feet, narrow feet, I would also suggest going true to size. If you have really narrow feet, maybe you can get away with going a half size down, but I can't really say with 100% certainty. With the materials used on the shoe, you do have a little bit of dead space up in the toe box area. You will get some bubbling right here, especially when, you know, flex your foot, but it is what it is, and it doesn't really, you know, hinder the fit overall, nor do you really feel the leather like poking into your foot, I guess, when you do take a stride. So that's a plus. This is actually also a completely disconnected tongue, except for, you know, it's obviously stitched at the bottom here, and that is kind of a bummer. So one thing that I noticed, I'm not sure if it's on my particular pair only, but the tongue sometimes isn't wide enough and it actually doesn't cover like this whole space right here. And what'll happen is you can actually see my sock through one of the sides at times, and that's just kind of annoying. You know, just not having the whole tongue cover the entire upper of your foot. But like I said, I don't know if that's on my particular pair only, but that is one thing that I did notice. But a good thing though, even though it's not a half booty or you know, one booty upper, is you do have like this lace loop that goes through the top of the tongue, which, you know, kind of helps hold the tongue in place. So it's not going sloppy everywhere. So besides the tongue issue and the dead space up in the toe box area, I would say that the overall fit in this shoe is actually pretty good. So moving on to the support, honestly, I had zero support issues in the shoe. You do have this giant external heel counter with a lot of like padding in the back area, and your heel isn't going anywhere. As I mentioned before, this rubber material here actually does a very good job of keeping your foot secured on that footbed. I didn't have any side to side movement on the footbed. And then in terms of the lateral movements, I didn't have any like feelings of rolling over. This is a fairly wide base and the midsole does actually protrude out. And then in terms of the torsional rigidity and stability, this is pretty stiff. I do believe the D Rose 1.5 uses what's called a sprint frame, which is like this giant plastic piece that pretty much runs throughout the entire shoe. And yeah, you know, you're covered on the torsional rigidity and stability too. So yeah, you know, the D Rose 1.5 Restomod does have good support. Also, another thing, if you are one of those people that likes having that feeling of ankle restriction, this D Rose 1.5 does come up pretty high, and if you lace it all the way to the top up here, you definitely feel like your ankle is more secure. So yeah, overall support, D Rose 1.5 Restomod, great. So the D Rose 1.5 Restomod retails for $150. And for $150, personally, it's definitely not my favorite shoe. You know, D Rose is a great player and all, and I get that this is like a Protro of, you know, his older shoes. But me personally, I don't think it's enough for me to fork out $150 to play in the shoe. Like I said, the traction, it's not the best. And you will slip out if you are playing on your dustier course, especially if you don't keep up with the wiping. And then the midsole, you know, it's Light Strike, which is, you know, brand new technology from Adidas. However, it's super thin, so it's definitely, you know, a more responsive setup of Light Strike, which I prefer it wasn't. I would like a lot more impact protection out of this shoe. And then, you know, the materials. If you like old school materials, you'll probably like this, but me personally, I would prefer some sort of, you know, textiles, knits. It just feels a little bit better on foot, in my opinion, especially because of the weight difference. But yeah, you know, if you like old school feeling shoes, this is probably something that you'll like. Me personally, this is a shoe that won't be in my rotation at all. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you all do want to pick up a pair, I will leave a link down in the description box for you. And please, if you do pick up a pair, let me know how you like them. If you don't like them, tell me, all your opinions about the shoe. That's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. And also hit that thumbs up button for me, as it really does help me out. Also, check out this video on my left and on my right, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.